Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
PD Beats here from Popternative, speaking to Hannes Thor Haldorsson about Cop Secret. Going to be in select theaters July 8th and then on demand everywhere July 12th. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
This is exciting. Directorial film debut. This is exciting. People are going to see it. What's going through your mind these days?
What's going through my mind? I think it's interesting that it's being shown in America. It's not what I expected at all, to be honest. We never thought anyone outside of Iceland would ever see it, actually. So, and then we started getting invitations to film festivals, and I was so surprised every time we screened it outside of Iceland. But then now I'm starting to get a bit more used to it, getting. But still, every time I get interviewed or it gets screened somewhere, it just amazes me every time.
What would you say officially, because I've known you love filmmaking for a long, long time. What was officially like your first love though, Hannes? Was it filmmaking? Was it football? Which one was first?
I would say football.
Okay.
I started doing that when I was like 6 years old.
Okay.
And I remember the moment. I still remember the moment when it was like a switch that flicked on in my brain with filmmaking when a friend of mine told me that he and another guy, they were playing around with the camera, and they did this interesting thing of recording when somebody was walking downstairs, and then they went downstairs and they pressed the record, and it was like they made this edit.
Yeah.
So it looked like it was the same movement, and I was like, that's interesting. And I started playing around with that. Like I got obsessed with editing and testing all sorts of editing possibilities, and started making short films with my friends at 12 years old in my school, and I never looked back.
Absolutely. No, it's really cool to see throughout your football career as well. The filmmaking, the directing was always kind of around. There's a lot of situations where professional athletes retire and then they pursue opportunities in the arts. This is like you were doing them pretty simultaneously, which is really awesome. Is it cool to be able to kind of do press and kind of get your content out there and everything? And because people might not have known that. People might not have known that your football career, being goalkeeper, you were also directing music videos, doing a lot of things at that time as well.
Yeah, I think, it's fun. I mean, in Iceland, it's a very, very well-known fact. It's getting, people are getting tired of hearing about it, because it's something that I've been the national team goalkeeper for 10 years. And after like 2 years, people were getting sick of hearing about me being a filmmaker as well. But every time, every time we play somewhere, or when I go to a new club in a new country, this fact gets brought up, and people find it quite interesting. And it is interesting. I'm definitely the only national team goalkeeper in the world who has ever directed the movie, and probably the only one who ever will.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's an accomplishment. It's so cool.
I have to say that I don't think it's going to happen again, and because it's very difficult. Lots of things had to play out right for this to happen, and it's a pretty unique situation.
It was sure.
It was difficult to do it. I mean, the first 10 years of my football career, I was playing in Iceland, and then I was working my way up the ladder in the film business as well. And but I was doing commercials only, almost only. I did some TV shows, some documentaries, but I was doing commercials mainly because that allowed me to, shooting commercials is 1 or 2 days of filming, and then you can work around football trainings, with pre-production and post-production.
Yeah.
But the shooting days are the problem, because they are 12 hours at least, and you always have to be training at 5 in the afternoon if you play in Iceland. Somehow I managed to balance those things for 10 years. Then I became a professional football player, and everything happened with the Icelandic national team that happened. We went to 2 tournaments and beat England and all that stuff. And during that time, I wasn't making that much. I focused on football. I made 2 commercials during that time.
Yeah.
You know, I which were well received actually. But I always knew that, you know, I was writing a script while being a professional football player, and I knew that when I came back to Iceland, I would start doing this again.
Yeah.
But I didn't expect to be able to make a whole feature movie while still being a professional football player and the national team goalkeeper.
And I want to talk about this film because Cop Secret is amazing. I love the film. Great job. I just want to know specifically, so, you know, the main character in this film, you know, an action film, there's a lot kind of happening, crime and everything, but there's a lot of soul searching, there's a lot of self-reflection, there's a lot of that, especially with your main character. From the director mindset, Hannes, what are some those kind of conversations with your main actors in regards to the arc and the development and the growth of these characters trying to find themselves throughout the film? It's like, what are those conversations like with your actors?
There were many conversations, and it took time to develop. And, you know, we started working on this 10 years ago. Me and the 2 main characters, we wrote the story, and many of the one-liners or the interactions between them, you know, those 2 guys are well-known comedians in Iceland, and they've been friends for 15 years or something. So, you know, we needed to get their chemistry. They were absolutely essential for making it work. We couldn't replace one of them if the other one was busy or couldn't do it. We wouldn't be able to make the movie, I think. So their chemistry was both the core of having things work and having this very fine kind of comedy, you know, tension between them. That's the comedy aspect of it. But then we made this decision of, you know, this big decision with the main character, which I don't want to give away, but it was, I think, a risky decision. It would have been easier for us to just make a comedy with lots of explosions and gunfights. But having the main character going through this struggle and, you know, this development as a character, I think, was risky, but it's also more rewarding. And what was very important, since we decided to do that, was to treat that part of the story and the character with as much respect as possible, and to make that, you know, to do it not as a joke, but to make that the drama and the heart and soul of the movie. And so, yeah, we tried our absolute best to you know, to keep the balance right, to not having it, you know, being a joke, but to be a serious struggle of the main character.
Oh, absolutely. What I find very interesting is one of my favorite things about storytelling, Hannes, is the global access of content. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, the only thing I knew about Iceland was I knew about they were just like the bad guys in Mighty Ducks 2. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I remember that one.
Exactly. But now it's like there's so many amazing TV shows, there's so many amazing shows that I get to watch. You know, we're in North America, I get to watch now basically that are from Iceland and everything. Do you think about now that kind of aspect? You started the interview about where it's going to different countries and anything. Is that one of the best parts of this, that you're able to make something you're proud of, but there's less restrictions now of how many people get to see it? Does that come to mind as well?
I think there are more possibilities to get your content out there, for sure. I can feel that definitely. I mean, I don't know how it was before because I was, you know, playing football at the time. Now I can feel that, you know, the world is quite open to everything. Of course, you have to make decent stuff. It's not gonna travel unless it's good. So that's always the first thing. But the possibilities are there if you manage to strike something. Actually, what you're describing, it gives me anxiety every day. You have tons of podcast shows. You have these new series. Everybody tells you about the new fantastic series you have to see every day, and you're like, okay, I have to spend 20 hours on that then. And you have like, I don't know how many series you have to watch and movies and everything. So it is difficult as well to have all these things, like coming at you as like a tsunami. But it's a positive problem though.
That was a historic run for Team Iceland. If someone asked you to be involved with a movie about that, would you direct that movie? Would you be a consultant on that? Have you ever thought about that? I'm sure people have asked you that before.
Yeah, I have. I think I would be a good consultant on that movie. I think me directing it would be stupid. Don't you think?
That would be tough for the character playing you, for the actor playing you, if you directed that movie.
It would feel too. I think it would just be weird.
Yeah.
Since you ask, I mean, one of the things that my career. One of the places my career took me to was Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
Where I had a super interesting experience, and I am writing, like, I'm starting to write to make notes on that experience and like drafting up a crazy farce sports movie from based on my experience in Azerbaijan. So I think if I would make something, it would be my Azerbaijan time, but not the England Viking clap beating England and the World Cup.
That was viral like 10 minutes after that clip was out. It was viral. That was one of the quickest viral videos I've ever seen. But before we wrap up, because I want to ask this question quickly, last question, Cop Secret, they're going to be able to see it very soon. What are you hoping they get out of it takeaway wise? So like the audience, like what do you hope they get out of watching this film?
I just hope they get it as well as, I mean, like I told you before, we didn't expect this movie. And I never made it with the intention of people outside of Iceland seeing it. So it's very honest in the way it's made for Icelandic audience and moviegoers. But I get so there's lots of local jokes in it. But having gone to different countries now and getting feedback from many countries, it looks like we put enough things in it that people that it translates in other countries and that people like it. And I just hope that that's going to be the case in America, where you have all these huge budget action movies. Mm-hmm. Me and my producers, we had this conversation at one time that, okay, we are making these action sequences. It's going to be fine for Iceland, but, luckily nobody's going to see it outside of Iceland. But so, because the budget of this movie, I think I calculated it one time. It's like 0.03% of the latest Fast and the Furious movie. So it's like we could afford maybe like 1 hour of pre-production of that movie for the whole film we made. So it's like, I hope the jokes cut through. I hope that people can feel that it's made with love, and if it leaves something positive and important behind, like, because it is tackling important subjects as well.
Yeah, it is 100%.
And if it raises, important questions and leaves something positive behind, because these things, they have to be brought up again and again and again, as you know. And things are in Iceland, things are in a good place, but they can be much better, in terms of the things that we are talking about in the movie. I don't want to go too deep into it, but it's a long answer. I just hope that in general people are going to like it, having fun seeing it, and maybe if it leaves something deeper than that behind, that's a huge bonus. Absolutely.
Hannes, thank you so much for coming on Popternative to talk about Cop Secret. I really appreciate your time, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I enjoyed being on.
Absolutely. People are going to be able, July 8th, it's going to be select theaters, and then on demand, July 12th, people are going to be able to see it. That's Cop Secret. This has been Popternative, youtube.com/Popternative for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Hannes Thor Haldorsson and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube. Be sure to like Popternative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.